Sorry I was late and sorry for my dress code. I just came off the baseball field. I apologize for that.
Tell the rest of it, you won the championship.
No, we play for the championship
Oh,
next week.
playing.
That was go to it. But, hope everyone's doing well. Let's welcome all the guests, board members and staff to our regular business meeting for the month of April. Everyone had an opportunity to look over the agenda.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome back, Mr. Danny McIntosh. He's the only one we have signed up for public comment to talk about stuff. That's where we're at. Yep.
I'll go right ahead. Board of Equalization and Review has begun. And I don't know exactly why I bring that up, but we are curing storm stories. We're eventually going to cure those stories. And I'm thinking today, you know, if you want to write a book, what are you going to do? Y'all be filming Board of Equalization and Review, because that's what people are telling their stories, really. Divine intervention, amazing coincidences, I don't know what you call some of these stories they're telling, but it's pretty amazing. But that's not what I want to talk about. We'll talk about my trip to the bougie brush. You know, a lot of times in my life, I've always wondered about what's the next big thing. You know, what does Burnsville need? What kind of business can you start? And apparently I don't know. But I was invited to come and help celebrate a birthday down there. Oh, that's all right. I like birthday parties all right. We're going to do that. Sounds good. And I said, well, you need to go ahead of time and pick out what you want to do. You can even design when you get down there. I thought, well, that's all right. So me and Trevor went down there a week ahead of time. Looked around, figured out what other people done, what they'd like to do. Then you got to figure out what you wanted it to say, or something to picture on, whatever. And then we went and we did it, and it was a great experience, a good group experience, and you actually came away with something you done yourself. I mean, it was pretty cool, but the story, they had a story about how we got there. Probably interesting is going out for later, because when you go thinking about what would we do if we were going to start a business, and they come up with that. The story about how she come up with that was sort of by accident on the hobby. But I guess I'd say she really got it going. Board of Equalization do here and all day, we get better. So that's about all I got, and I'm about out of time. But again, I appreciate it all. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Everyone had an opportunity to look over the minutes from March the 6th and the 17th.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Talk a day with the managers report.
Somewhere the wheel's gonna run off.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. We'll give you a little review of some stuff that's been going on with some of our projects. Our building remodel at 118 North Main. On Monday, we had our pre-construction meeting with Harper Construction, our contractors. They should start their mobilization in 2 to 3 weeks. They're expecting a 10-month construction period. And we're excited to get that project going. ARPA, Bowens Creek line replacement. That project got sacked pretty much by the storm, except for about 2,700 feet of of line, 8-inch line that's gonna go from the edge of Bowlins Creek up over country up to the, water treatment plant. The contractor on that is Hyatt Pipeline, and obviously we had a big reduction in the amount of work they were gonna be doing. So we have contracts that they brought today for the mayor to sign. We've already awarded the project previous meeting, but I'd like a motion just giving him the authority to go ahead and sign the contracts. I believe the final price, and Leslie's got a project ordinance amendment, but the contract price was reduced, or the total project price is reduced down to $811,591 from $2.2 million. And as you know, we moved the balance of that over onto our Main Street project. The East Main Interceptor sewer lining project will have its first bid on April the 8th. We'll cross our fingers, we have 3 contractors to bid, so we can actually open the bids and don't have to rebid it. The water treatment plant work continues, it's on schedule, and I think they're getting closer to being finished up there. Carolina Specialties is a contractor on that, out of Henderson County. The Main Street Waterline Replacement Project, we are awaiting the pre-construction meeting on that project. And there's several contractors because there's several parts to it. Help me, Shane. TP Howard got the larger project that's gonna take this line out and put new line in. And Carolina Specialties got the side work, the pump station at Shepherd's Way. And so, hopefully in the next month, we'll have a pre-construction meeting on that and have a time schedule for their start date. CDBGI, our West Interceptor project, completed yesterday. And so, I looked at the checklist of things they need to do. Chip and replace flaking exterior on manhole 149. And then seed and straw some areas where some cleanouts were installed, and provide post-CIPP videos. So they are substantially complete with that project. Michelle Ball tells me the grant closeout public hearing should be in June. The county's ARPA project at the Pine Swamp wastewater treatment plant, just to update y'all on that, you know, it overbid by $5 million, and that's just the environment that we're living in these days. We have a call the 10th, I believe, with DEQ, some of their upper brass, the county, the engineers on the project, and High Country Council of Government staff try to figure out a solution to the cost overrun. We got several things that are being bounced around, but I will keep y'all updated on that, trying to get that project back on track. Our FEMA projects are moving on a very, very slow train through their process. We did get some good news, I guess, after sitting in DC for 7 weeks on somebody's desk. Our expedited project for the temporary raw water intake pump system that's providing water to the plant right now was approved for 50% funding. That's about $1.1 million. They will be, I called our North Carolina emergency management rep and said, when's the cash gonna get here? And they basically said once Washington releases it, it's about a 35-day wait. So that'll be close to 7 months. But that will cover a large chunk of our cost for that project. So we're glad to be seeing something move along. The permanent intake rebuild project is moving through all the queues at FEMA's Consolidated Resource Center in Atlanta. And I think it has gone now to peer review, whatever that means. It is a large project. We have the DEQ bridge loan funding. We're getting a lot of pressure from Public Water Supply in North Carolina wanting us to move. They want us off that temporary system and have, something permanent in the works. So we have the bridge loan from DEQ for $3 million. They have some more funding available. I've reached out to Renee Parkman, who's oversees that funding, to see if we can't get this thing expedited. And when FEMA eventually pays, we pay them back. But we just can't wait any longer, and it's just taken way too long to get started on that. I think the engineers are ready to go to contract and get to work and get us back on the road with that. So we had resisted for as long as we could, looking at consultants to help us with some of this FEMA process. We felt like these are large infrastructure projects, and that's what we've been doing for 5 years. We know how to do them. But FEMA is a whole different animal.
There's
And
18.
yeah, and we have 18 FEMA projects and various sizes, amounts, and stages, and it is taking up, it's another full-time job. So we thought we will put out a request for proposals from consultants and see what turns up. Well, what turned up was 12 responses. And I started kind of going through them, but myself, Leslie, and Shane will begin working through the scoring process tomorrow. And we'll be back in touch with y'all about who we think is best suited for our needs. I know there's several working around. I've had calls from everybody. French Broad has one, and Mitchell County has one. Well, everybody has one pretty much. So we'll report back on that. We have a contract for mowing services for Mountaintop Landscaping, and due to taking out the field over here and pretty much the one behind the shed, because that's going to become a construction site soon. It's a 7-month contract. It's basically the same terms as we had last year, except for those facilities, and that did result in a price reduction to $2,600 a month. They do all the mowing except for the square, the bypass, all our facilities that are outside of town. Keep them mowed and trimmed for us during the grass cutting season. So I just need a motion to allow the mayor to sign that contract.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Now, do you need a motion, you need some action on the one for him to sign the Bowlins Creek thing?
Did we not do
No.
that? Thought we did.
No, you said it.
Like-
Well, we awarded it, so we don't necessarily need it, but let's go ahead and do it while we're all sitting here
I'd love
anyway.
to make that one.
And I'll second that one.
All in favor? Motion carries, Chad.
Last thing I have is the tax report. We've collected 97.77% of the 2024 levy. Certainly,
Good.
that's a big thank you to our citizens and business owners, property owners in town. This has been a difficult time for everybody, but people are paying their taxes and helping us get back on track. And I certainly want to recognize Jackie Hensley. She's very diligent about staying on top of that. We have a small outstanding amount, and we will begin, she and I will sit down and talk about appropriate collection methods going forward, try to get the rest of it.
She loves to take our money.
She's really good at it,
She
you know?
is. Yeah.
I don't
She
go down
is.
there by her window very
She
much
is.
during tax season.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. Appreciate y'all.
Can I ask one question? right there?
Yeah.
Did we get the shortfall on 118 North Main covered? You were gonna try to-
They have, the last conversation I had with Senator Heiss's office was they would try to do what they could, but it's a pretty tough budget season for them too. So we'll see what comes in there. We do have contingency money and fund balance that would cover that if we had to. And hopefully, we won't have to use a lot. More than half of that was actual project contingency. I hope we don't have to tap into it too much.
Maybe they get their budget fixed and we find a little bit.
They're certainly been very supportive of
Oh, sure.
the project,
They have.
so we're appreciative for that.
Alright, anybody else have anything for Heather? Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to the clerk's update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This time every year, we do reappoint or appoint someone to a vacancy on the ABC board. Erica Deaton's term is up this month, and I've shared with you the applications we have. Eric has also expressed a willingness to be reappointed. I just need a motion appointing or reappointing someone to that spot for the next 3 years.
I'll make that motion.
For
To reappoint,
Reappoint.
Reappoint. I'll second that motion.
all in favor?
Right, thank you. The other item, which just came up today, is a request for a road closure on the square. I put the flyer in at your stations there. Stephanie Johnson turned this in. She's wanting to do an event on May 31st. She's wanting to close the road from 9 to 6. It's an event involving a lot of these groups that drive Jeeps. I want to do guided tours of some areas throughout the county, come back to downtown Burnsville, potentially involve the town center, and do vendors, music, food around the square that evening. And I told her that we would need a little bit of a compressed time frame, so we'd need to request that as soon as possible. So she got everything back to me this evening, and she's requesting a full closure of the entire square. She could work with a partial closure. Not closing it was not a deal breaker, but she was requesting, hoping for full.
How, Brian, how close is that to any other closures that we have on the square? that you-
Let's see, we got one next Saturday, not this coming, and then we got, the Thursday evening,
June 9th.
Funshine in June 19th, that's the ones we have around that.
How about a descriptor on how you like half versus whole?
Me?
Yeah.
Half is easier on the businesses, they usually prefer that, if they're okay with using the south. Of course, now we have the new rail, in years past, it didn't affect really any businesses, if it was just the south, but now you do have the new ray open, which it does affect.
Yeah, that's,
Memorial Day weekend.
Memorial Day weekend.
yep.
Is that a Saturday, I'm assuming?
We'd have stuff on the square.
And I'll let her know the complexities of this.
Yeah, and if you do the other half, then you get Gardnerville and Snapdragon.
What are they having in the street itself?
I think they're gonna try to park the Jeeps, foot traffic, some, food trucks. Could be kind of way.
Okay.
Not to get too off course with it, I mean, we'll vote on it, but in my opinion, I just think this is gonna continue to be more and more requests, and I mean, we've got the certain ones that we've always had, and it just seems to me like they're, I mean, I've seen it with the town center with, people, wanting the town center for a reduced rate, and, I just kinda took it upon myself, to say we can't do for one, not do for the other, so we can't do for any of them, but, these road closures really affect these businesses, and, I mean, and all of them are doing good things. I mean, all these closures are doing good things, but what it's taken away from some of these businesses, I don't know if it's, if it's worth it or not.
She looked for town center today,
Yeah.
so she's got options over there.
Again, I'm just throwing that out.
Really not, that's a bad weekend.
With it being Memorial Weekend too, I mean,
Yeah. And I'm like you know, it hurts the other businesses.
Well, with the foot traffic, that's all daylight hours, right? So I'm not as concerned about, if it went after dark, I'm more concerned about traffic coming through there if you've got a lot of foot traffic, but this is just daylight hours.
9 to 6.
I don't know.
Does anyone have
Well,
a,
the businesses are daylight hours. mostly.
does anyone wanna make a motion to approve? Oh, I guess.
I would say one thing right there. May 31st is not Memorial Day. No,
This is the weekend before it.
no, it's
Yeah.
after. Memorial Day is the 26th.
Oh, there you go, Randy.
Oh, okay.
You got a calendar. That's good.
And I mean, I'm not taking a stance either way, but I will say this, that young lady right there has worked hard as anybody has there in the flood. And I don't know what she's trying to
And she has, and I 100% agree with you on that.
And I agree with
I
that,
think our
but
primary
that's,
goal, fundraiser, what she's trying to do.
And I think we all commend that.
And I guess I would say since it's after Memorial Day, and I know it's a Saturday, I would probably be in favor of it.
Do I have a second on that? Let me, I don't have a second, but let me ask Corbin, is the town center available that weekend?
Well, she booked it.
She did
Yes, she
book
did
it,
book it,
but she wanted it in conjunction with the square,
I
or,
believe so, yes. Because inside, my understanding was gonna be a vendor type deal, where outside was gonna be more food and like Chad said, maybe some live music out on the square.
And the goal of that is to raise money for recovery.
Yeah, the hall.
Fundraiser, she wanted to do some awards, she wanted to do something with the kids at the high school, the construction kids, that program.
But our vendors would be in the town center, and so all that'll be on the square is food trucks and live music.
All that may not be worked out. Oh, she'd even mentioned having a tent on the square with silent auction and
I'm just saying, I don't know that any of that would require the roadway itself, other than just the traffic going.
yeah, and then it becomes a danger, does it not, Brian? I mean, if you have music on there with that amount of people at the town center.
It just depends on, how well attended it is and how much foot traffic you have.
I mean, I'm definitely torn because I know what she's done. She has done a fine job, but there's many other people in the county that's done things too, and then if they come and ask and we deny that, then we just can't close that square every weekend. Randy made a motion. Do I have a second? Don't have a second, so I guess, just tell her that obviously she's got the town center to,
I
she
explained
can
that
utilize, there's quite a bit of parking at the town center. She's got it booked, so.
I'm sure she'll understand. We talked.
And obviously, they can set up vendors in the gravel area, correct? As far as the food vendors.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
And just let her know if we need to maybe try to reserve some spaces around through there for food vendors around the inside of the square so they can park there. We can help coordinate with that.
We talked about that a little bit, and also, I talked to her before she booked the town center. If the South Main thing comes up, there's still time that we could talk about that later. We didn't really discuss that, but if that comes up, we still got another meeting between now and then. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Chad. All right, we'll move on to Mr. Shane Dale with the Public Works update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the biggest things I've got is we've started trying to get the brush tickets and everything caught up. Since Helene, we've not worked a whole lot on that. We're just now getting around to that, so if anybody has some brush out there, don't have work orders on it, be sure to call the office and we'll get them picked up and out of there. We have had a couple of inspections over this past month on the water and on the sewer side of things. As Heather said a while ago, they keep wanting to know when we're gonna start making some progress on some of this. Everything is still running as it should, it just needs some new equipment to operate. But, that's pretty much it, and as she said, also Cajun on the, west interceptor is pretty well done with that, and that's a nice piece that is finished. That's pretty well everything that I've got.
Just for the people in the audience and the board members that may or may not know, on that brush removal, this is not a dump site down here at the old fire station, at the Public Works facility. That is the only way that we can take this as part of the FEMA project, because it was done with the county, and we can't get these big trucks on our roads inside the city limits. So Shane's crew is picking it up, taking it down there, dropping it off, and then SDR, Greg Bryant's crew, the contractors, are coming there and picking it up. So it's not a general dump site. I know you drive by it every day, but Shane's crew's doing a very good job of getting it up and getting it down there, and Greg's crew's doing a pretty good job getting rid of it, so.
It's worked pretty well so far. I mean, they've got it all cleaned up and everything right now, unless they dump some more. I was out this evening, so I really don't know if they've put any more back down there or not.
And people would think it would make sense for us, as we put it in our trucks, just to take it to that dump site at OMC, but again, it's FEMA and it's difficult. That's the only way that we can do it, and it worked for everyone involved, the county and the contractors, so that's the reason we're having to do that. Thank you, Shane. All right, Miss Leslie.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I think first I have, well, I sound the budget versus actual. And, we'll have to do a little bit of cleanup, but honestly, it's a lot better than I thought it would be when I've looked at the revenues for the water and sewer. I mean, considering, we didn't build that much, but it's actually not as bad as I would have thought. But I have a budget amendment, and we actually done the project ordinance before the storm, and so, it's just been a while, we kind of forgot about it. And then I saw this McGill bill that was real old. And so, it's like, I think we better pay them, I just don't have a way to do it. So, it's actually, creating a new fund, a 41 fund, and it's a loan with a grant of 5%, whichever, of this amount or whatever's greater, just 5%. And then we're gonna have to pay the closing costs, which is $7,200. And then down here is just the expenses, to go with it. And it's the lead service line project that we talked about.
Like last
Yeah.
May or something like
Yeah.
that.
And I'm gonna have to amend their big budget to actually pay the loan payment, so. But, yeah. So, if you'll just, I need a motion and a vote on it.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay, then we move to this Bolins Creek and the Main Street. And as Heather said, they're moving $1,409,600 from the Bolins Creek to the Main Street. And, the construction is lowered to $446,591 on the Bolins Creek now. And it just increased the construction and the other things, the other expenses here. And we just needed to update it now since that's changed.
I have a motion to approve the amendment.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
You got
Oh,
another?
what else do I have? Yeah, sorry, I'm just sitting here, yeah, I've got budget workstation. I thought I was done. Okay, I think you sent out, was it the 14th, 15th, and maybe 16th? or the week of the 21st sometime.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, 14, 15, 16.
What time you looking for on the 21st?
I don't know, I was just gonna see.
I'm not available that week at all,
The 14th,
the second one.
oh, the 21st, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how does the 14th, 15th, 16th look for anybody?
I'm good.
Denise, do you need it to be later in the day?
I can make arrangements to whatever everybody else wants.
Okay.
Now, when is this?
The 14th, 15th, or 16th, it's just up
That's
to
a
you guys.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
Would either of those be better for you, Denise?
yeah.
I'm sorry, are we talking about this month or next?
Yeah,
month?
April.
April, okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, I missed that.
When did you?
And I mean, I myself am not opposed to doing it later in the evening if that would be beneficial to you.
Yeah.
I mean, if it helps you.
I just,
Whatever.
I mean, would like a afternoon be okay, then I could just cut off work a little early?
We've got that, ARC, CDBG, DR grant conversation on April the 15th at 2,
Okay, so how long did that take?
about an hour.
Okay,
Well, maybe 1:30, it's 1:30 to 2:30.
okay, so we can,
But we could do after that if
Yeah.
y'all wanna do, or Monday is the 14th.
I mean, if it would be beneficial to Denise, I'm not opposed to coming in at 4 or 5 o'clock. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, is that okay with everybody?
It's good with me.
Yeah, I
It's
know I've
actually
got-
better for me, it'll give me more time to prepare.
I have an appointment at the VA and close to one of those dates, but I'll see them.
Okay, so which day you guys wanna shoot for?
Yeah.
I don't care, this is the only month I don't have a doctor's appointment, so.
That Monday,
Sure.
Randy, is that Monday okay with you, the 14th?
Well, I
14th.
just need to leave later to go south, but that's okay.
We wanna do another day?
No, I'm good.
Okay. We'll
So
just
you're
do it.
okay with that at about 4
Yeah,
on the 14th?
yeah, I'll just go to South Carolina after the meeting.
Okay.
They'll be biting on Tuesday.
Well,
I think I'll be good within you because my appointment at the VA's at 8 o'clock in the morning, so.
Okay. Okay, 14th at 4. Okay, I think I am done now.
Yep. All right, thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome, I'm just losing my mind.
Understood. All right, we'll move on to Chief Howell with the Fire Department.
are we gonna do that here?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You do have our report for the month, and we did have 49 calls this month. Many of those had to do with fires, smoke investigation, several structure fires this month. We had 5 structure fires this month. And it's been a very busy fire month for us. Hopefully, we had a little bit of rain, maybe that will calm down a little bit. And so, we're looking for a little bit more, hopefully. We'll get out of this a little bit. It is very hazardous out in the rural part of the county because of all the blowdown and everything that took place with the storm. Access around through the mountains is very difficult right now. Had a meeting today with the U.S. Forest Service. On the 29th, we'll be doing a tour, group of the fire departments, to go to Mount Mitchell. And you may think that's kind of odd, but right now, we have no access from Yancey County to Mount Mitchell. And so we're trying to figure out how we're gonna be able to get rescue operations to work this summer. Even though the trails are going to be, most of the hiking trails will be closed, there's still gonna be people out there. And so we're trying to figure out how best to deal with that. So it looks like the campgrounds, the Forest Service campgrounds will probably be closed with the exceptions of the Hemlocks for most of the summer season. And many of the roads that we have accessed and used through the years, they're repairing some of them, but there's still a lot of them still blocked up. So that's kind of a push that we're trying to look at get a little lead on here before it gets really into the height of the tourist folks coming in, because they will come in, and just try to prepare it the best we can. And that's about all I have to report.
Thank you, Chief.
Except one other thing, excuse me, I meant to mention it, we did get, there was $10 million appropriated for fire departments to pay for expenses from the flood, to do some preparation for coming future events, so that went through, and I got a letter from Office of State Fire Marshal, and there's an application period for that. The maximum that any department can get is $500,000, so we'll be looking at making some application to get some of that money to, if nothing else, do some preparatory work for any future events we might have, so.
Matching grant?
It is not matching,
Straight up?
straight up grant.
Sweet. Best cap.
And, there's a section of it for equipment, and one for capital improvements, and so there's several categories that you can apply for. You just have to be a SMILE or volunteer department, and they consider SMILE department to be serving communities less than 14,000, I think it is. So, I think all of the departments in the county will qualify.
Thank you, Chief. Chief Buchanan?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was telling you as well, our activity logs for the season, the month. And the one item I have on here is the road closure ordinance for the event next Saturday, the Fit Families 5K. As part of our process, once we get approval, we have to pass an ordinance declaring this road closure. So I just need a motion and a vote on this payment, this ordinance.
What time is that?
8 to 11, I believe. It's usually over relatively quickly.
Yes, I'm really looking every year.
Yes.
I'll make the motion. Yeah.
Second.
All in favor?
Long
Thank you.
time.
And then I have nothing really to report with zoning and code enforcement. I don't believe we're having a planning meeting, is that correct, Chad? Which would normally be this month. I don't think we have an item on the
Figure
agenda.
tomorrow, we'll make that decision for, I'll let them know tomorrow. It's
Yeah,
still-
but it doesn't appear we'll have a planning board meeting this month, so that's all I have.
Thank you, Brian. All right, we'll move on. We can skip over Corbin, because he wasn't at the last meeting. Mr. Corbin?
Thank you. We ended March with 31 events. April has 26, and so far we have 34 events in May. We're quite booked up, which is amazing. I might be losing my mind just a little bit, but that's okay. Upcoming events, public events will be this Saturday. We have the Spring Fest Craft Show. April 10th, we have the second of the Dementia Caregivers Workshop. May 1st, NRA Banquet. May 5th, Lifeline Screening, and May 24th, we have the Arthur Morgan School Fundraiser. As of right now, those are mostly all of the bigger public events that we have on the calendar for up until the end of May. But again, we're staying quite busy right now, which is very good. That's all I really have.
Thank you, Corbin.
Thank you.
All right, council member reports. Anybody have anything they'd like to report on? I would like to say, I know I kinda harp on it almost every meeting, but, I'm not telling you guys something that you don't already know, but it's amazing what this group of people is doing up here. I know, them early weeks, Chief Hal and Shane and Brian and his crew, they were 24 hours a day, and their workload is still triple what it was prior to the storm. But, when things started settling down, and Heather, but since things have started settling down a little bit on the outside, I can tell you what's going on in here. It's unbelievable. And, what Leslie and Chad are doing, and even Corbin, I mean, the amount of work that he's taking on with the town center, that's, events just because of the storm is amazing. But these three right here are just, and Shane's still tremendous amount too, but, and Niles is, fire calls are outrageous. But, you know, what Leslie and Heather and Chad are doing up here every day is absolutely amazing, and we still have a town to run. I don't know how they're doing it, but I just have to brag on them, because it's very special what they're doing.
We're losing our
I mean,
We're crazy, that's how we're.
if you come in here Monday through, well, all the times except on days that we have a board meeting once a month, this whole boardroom is nothing but basically Heather's office. It starts from here and it goes to that back wall, I promise you. And, just wanna commend them on what they're doing.
And I second that.
Thank you guys so much.
We appreciate y'all's
Yeah.
support, and we hope we'll get through this somehow.
We'll make it.
Met with the governor one day last week, and he said, what do you need? And I said, obviously, we've gotta have our money. We've gotta have our FEMA money. And I said, you know, I compared us to Asheville a little bit. I said, Asheville has people in-house that are capable of helping when something like this happens. We don't, you know, Spruce Pine don't. These smaller municipalities don't have anyone extra to do this, and the amount of work that they have taken on is unbelievable. I know Heather's here on Saturdays and Sundays. I see her all the time and talk to her, and you just can't not take it home with you. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Well said.
All right, we'll move on to miscellaneous.
That's kind of a hard act statement to follow, because I'm back there going, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff. Over the past month, the Yancey Chamber has been busy celebrating our community and preparing for exciting months ahead. We hosted our annual Chamber Gala a couple of weeks ago and welcomed 110 people for an evening of celebration and support for our local artists. 8 of our local restaurants participated in the Taste of Burnsville, but we did an online and silent auction to benefit our local artists, and it was all artwork from local artists in the community that we auctioned off. We raised just shy of $4,000. We raised $3,995 with about $2,800 of that going directly to the artists who had participated, so it was nice to get that back to them. Also honored our outstanding businesses of the year. The UPS store was the outstanding new business, Thrive Appalachia, the outstanding nonprofit, and the Bougie Brush won the outstanding business of the year award. Our awards were made by Brian, and I can tell you that when we unveiled the awards right before we presented them, there was actually a gasp from the audience. They're like, oh my gosh. So
A good one or a
a
bad?
good one. So thank you for doing those again. They were beautiful. And the Compassionate Care in Burnsville took our tablescape competition, so we were able to also honor them. Claudia Honeycutt did our keynote speech and really delivered just such an inspiring message. I wish I'd recorded it because it was just amazing. She urged us to acknowledge where we are right now in our recovery, but also to remember the beauty and the nature around us that brought all of us here in the first place, and to look up. Her keynote was to look up. You know, we see the debris and we see the destruction of the highways. We tend to look down all the time, but if you look up, you are reminded of the mountains and just everything that we do have in Yancey County rather than what we don't. I want to say how very especially grateful we are to Corbin and his team for making the whole experience seamless from load in to load out. We couldn't have done it without them. Looking ahead, we're hosting the Easter Egg Extravaganza in the downtown square with Remax results on April 12th. We have 6,000 filled Easter eggs that we're gonna put around town square for kids ages 3 through 12 to come hunt. And again, that event's only possible with all of the help of our town staff and everybody that's helping us get through that. Activity in downtown Burnsville is definitely picking up. We're welcoming Live Oak Gastro Pub to the old Hilltop location right across from the Visitors Center there over the almost every day that I'm here, working on that, and hope to be open in, that location by May 1. They had their first health inspection today, so I haven't talked to her since she heard how that went, but hopefully well. Kelsey Rose Tea will be reopening April 16th with the new ice cream store. I'm so happy. I've been going through ice cream withdrawal. Thrive Appalachia will be providing that ice cream in that store again. And the grand reopening of the New Ray Hotel Restaurant and Roland's is in May. So we've got those on the horizon, and that'll obviously provide some energy and tourism downtown as well. We're also seeing an increase of visitors in the visitor center already, so hopefully that will continue. And from talking to Claudia and Dennis, who obviously been around for quite a long time, they think we're gonna see a serious uptick in May. So I do appreciate you taking the visitors, or the merchants into consideration when you were making that decision earlier about road closures, because to close from 9 to 6 on a Saturday would really have an impact on our merchants. So thank you again for thinking about that. That's kind of everything I have. We appreciate the town council's support and continuing to support everything that we're doing, and want to do everything we can to work together with you. So if there's anything we can bring back to you or that we can do for you guys, please let us know. And happy to answer any questions or entertain any thoughts.
Not to be rude, but let me listen to this voicemail, because I think I've got something to ask you.
Oh, okay.
I just got it when I was coming
Oh,
out
okay.
the road from there. Oh, I didn't mean to put it on speakerphone.
That might be dangerous.
Should I sit for this?
No,
or- okay.
no. I read it, but
Read your voice.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear
Oh, y'all have that
Okay.
Apple cred.
it was Darren Williams, the principal
Yeah. of
out there,
course.
when you mentioned the egg thing. That's prom day, and he just called, and that's all he said was, is
It
that
only
going to?
goes to age 12, and it's at 2 in the afternoon. I'm gonna guess it
So you
won't
think
take
it'll
those
be,
kids very
you think
long
it'll
to-
be, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're
I don't know
lining the
what-
kids up at 1:45, which means they'll show up at 1:15.
What time
But-
typically do people take prom pictures?
2 o'clock.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Pretty early.
Oh, that's
Oh,
interesting.
yeah.
I didn't
Cause
know
they gotta
that.
go
Well,
somewhere to eat.
Because they're gonna go
Oh, yeah.
eat, I would say they line up by 1 o'clock.
Okay, well, I mean, it's not for the teenagers. I realize it'll impact families, and that's where you're going with this, but
No, I think
It's on
they take pictures on the
On the
county
square.
square.
Yeah.
Until-
That's where everybody
Yeah.
goes
That's
and
where
takes
everybody
pictures.
meets before prom is on the town
it'd
square.
been nice if we'd known that ahead. They're not even gonna have all of the 5K stuff down by that time, so that's gonna be an interesting day.
Oh, is that the same day?
Yep.
Wow.
It is.
It's gonna be a busy day.
Danny just said it.
It's an eventful Saturday.
That's okay.
What better backdrop for your prom picture than to have small children picking up?
There you go. Like I said, I just read that when I was
Yeah,
coming, and,
I
I didn't
appreciate
even
that
think
knowledge.
about it until you said Easter egg, and I said, I saw that, and
Do they do it all
On my
over
phone.
the square, or is there a particular area that's more popular
generally,
on
that's
the
just
square?
where everybody meets,
where
and
everybody
their
gets-
moms and dads come up and take.
Granny and granddaddy and.
Around the trees in the center, that's what, okay, that's what I was looking for. I mean, the way we were looking at doing it was to not section it off literally, but the town square is already in 4s. So we were gonna take 3 sections and do like ages 3 to 5 and 6 to 9 or 6 to 8 and 9 to 12, so the little ones weren't competing with the bigger ones. So, and then start them in the middle and have them go out toward not toward the road, but have the parents around the perimeter, so they can.
Brian didn't hear that, did he?
I wanna be up on
Listen,
top
I
of
had
it.
Easter egg hunts with like 5 kids, and it's
Around 2
a,
o'clock.
I wanna be
Talking
up,
a
But have them
slaughter.
work their way out toward the parents that are at the perimeter of the town square to make sure they
I'm
don't.
gonna be up on top of Todd Bailey's.
So there is a road closure for that day?
Yes, but
But
not
it
during
ends-
our.
Not during their
not
event.
during our
It
event.
ends after the 5K.
What time is that?
you just need to
11.
tell Darren so that he can tell everybody, like, you're
Yeah.
gonna have to wait till the eggs are done before you go up there and get your picture.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
literally,
and
I'm
that way, I mean, he can tell the,
True.
tell the students that, so.
I'm gonna have to think with kids, it's not gonna last, I can't picture it even last 30 minutes for them to pick up eggs and,
Did you mean she said
You
she
know.
had?
6
so, I would think it'll be a
6,000?
scramble. Huh?
6,000, Eggs, okay, not kids, okay.
No, God, no, I hope not. Lord, we can't
Oh.
have those.
Well, I'll just relay to Darren that,
I don't like it when they rip
you know,
the
we're
rest of
hopeful to get
Talk
out of there
about
by,
bloody nose.
by 2:30ish.
Yeah, and
But,
I will
I mean, he can,
also let you know.
and that may give those parents, you know, ample time to say, we're going somewhere else to take pictures, but,
I know that Pat notified us that they were gonna, that the tent would not be picked up, that they're using for the 5K too before our Easter egg hunt. That's why we sectioned it into 3 instead of the whole 4. So that tent may be there in the background too. I don't know when they'll be, or taking it down maybe. I don't know when that's supposed to be picked up.
Okay.
So, just have.
that'll be good.
But thank you
That's
for
a good
letting
thing
us
for
know
the
that.
chief to do. You can call the principal tomorrow and let him know all this.
If there's anything we
No,
can do,
no,
I mean, if
no.
there's, seriously,
I,
when we
once,
talk to him,
once
if
I
there's
talk
something-
with him,
yeah.
I'll get back in touch with
Please,
him.
yeah, and
Yes,
let him
ma'am.
know that we didn't know, and we're happy to work with it as much. I mean, we've got the time out at this point,
Right.
2 o'clock
All over
time,
to
but
the
whatever we can do to
playground,
facilitate,
in their
we'll
backyard.
Yeah.
Get pictures
definitely
made.
do.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you know once I talk with him,
Okay,
but
thank you, Mayor.
thank you.
Anybody else?
All right. Bill, do you have anything to report on from High Country?
Just, they mostly talked about the FEMA and them getting the money and just the usual. Not getting the money, yeah.
Not getting money. I was on a call, I think, with almost every municipality in western, I mean, from Lake
Yeah.
Lure all the way up into Avery County, nobody's gotten a dime.
They did have an interesting thing up there. They said they were, before Halloween, they were 500 Christmas growers, Christmas tree growers. And now there's less than 100 and the average age is 77, and they won't have time to get trees up to market. They won't be living that long. So that was a sad thing. And they're trying to figure out what they can do with the properties and stuff if they don't want developments on more. They would prefer to have, sell lots and things and build different.
That'd be my next question.
What's
What
that?
happened to the closed session?
It's just budget related as to, decided we don't know enough. We don't know enough yet.
Anyone else have anything? All right, our next regular meeting is May the 1st, 6 o'clock. Thanks to everyone for being here. I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Well, this has been fun. I think we should stay longer.
It's not even 7 o'clock, but it's almost.